So,
I
Mr.
think it's
Kevin,
setting up the meeting yet.
okay. On my end, it says live on YouTube.
It's redirecting to YouTube.
Let me open YouTube on my end. We can
So I
Mr.
think it's
Kevin,
setting up the meeting yet.
okay. On my end, it says live on YouTube.
Yep. I think it's going live now. Yeah, it's live now.
Let me open YouTube on my end.
Yeah.
We can
I think it's setting up the meeting yet.
Okay. On my end, it says live on YouTube.
Yep.
Why are things
live now? Yeah, it's live now.
Let me open YouTube. You want me to continue?
Yeah, I think what I've done is I've muted it over there, but it's still laggy. I think it's still lagging over there.
Okay, no problem. So should I start?
What I'll do is,
or let's do a fresh retake.
Yeah. Okay. I think it should be good. Yeah.
Great. Should I start?
Yeah. That's fine. You can start.
Yeah. So, Mr. Kevin Coutinho, thank you so much for joining our group students in Perth and taking the time to talk to us. Firstly, congratulations on HumanBot and Revolty, which is the first blockchain-based loyalty program in Australia. So before we begin, can you tell us your journey? Like, how did you decide to come in Australia? What exactly you studied, and did you work part-time and things like that? What was your schedule like when you were a student?
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Keyur. Thanks for having me, actually. And before I begin, I mean, when I came to Australia, I think it's a few years ago now. Of course, I came here as an international student. Now, when I came to Australia, I came here to do my master's. Now, if you see, there are more than 150,000 students itself, from a specific part of the country, from the Asian countries that come to Australia. But overall, there are more than 1 million students that come to Australia. Out of that, usually you find 20 to 40% of the students enroll into the master's program. So even I decided to do my master's of accounting over here. After I came over here, I started doing some casual jobs. Of course, like every student has to make some money at the side,
right,
to pay the fees. So I started doing some casual jobs. I was working in a restaurant. I worked in a car wash. I also worked at a few supermarkets. And I used to I always loved what I did, and that was quite a bit of journey. But then I started digging out on what can be done next. For example, you would have thought that when you come here, you do your masters, you can get a job and in your relevant field, and life would be good. I mean, it's an utopian world. But after you come here, what happens is when reality hits you, where there are so many students over here, there are so few jobs, and when it kind of becomes like a dogma, it's not a hard-coded fact, but I'm sure many of the international students can come to the conclusion that if you don't have a permanent residency or citizenship in this country, it does become a little bit hard to get a job. But that being said, there are ways of how this country um, can build you up, can build your skills up to get you started. So it's not a discouragement from the country. The country is, I think, preparing you to be a better person, to sharpen up your skills.
Right. Great. So when you switched jobs and all that, did you find it relatively harder to get a job yourself?
When I was doing my master's, I was also working in a restaurant. So there are Facebook groups available where the people, the restaurant owners or business owners post requirements related to the job. And of course, as an international student, you have to comply with the laws of 20 hours a week of work. Now, when you apply for these kind of jobs, it's not relatively tough to get them, but there are so few jobs and so many students, so that ratio makes it a bit harder to get it in a particular time frame. So it may take you a while to get certain job, but if you are ready to do any sort of work that you can do within the rules, then um, I think you can get a job. But what I would like to add over here is, I did work in a restaurant, in a car wash, but making sure that you work under those 20 hours of rules that the government has set for you. I was working as a subcontractor to an IT company where I helped the company build certain softwares, applications in the machine learning side of the things, or
Yeah,
or even some kind of web portal. So there are ways and means of how you can adjust those 20 hours, remain in that limit, and still be able to work.
got it. Right. So how did human bot happen then? Like you were working and then like suddenly you got a firm of your own. It's making $1 million. How did it happen?
As I said, I was working as a subcontractor contractor for an IT company. What happens is, if you look at the whole job pool, right? So this is my take on getting a job here. Now, when you look at the whole pool care,
Mhm.
many of the times what happens is you have to sharpen one skill. So, for example, it can be graphics designing, it can be web development, it can be bookkeeping as well, it can be aged care. So, you have to work on one skill because the master's program allows you to build a holistic approach towards the workplace, or even in your studies, but it doesn't prepare you to be job ready. I don't agree to the fact that the master's program prepares you to be job ready, because when you are studying academically and even when you have your projects, but when you come to the real world, it's a very different scenario. Let me give you an example. In the Masters of Professional Accounting from UWA, they don't focus on MYOB or zero. So these programs are specifically built for management type of a role. Now there are so few management roles in this country, and if you don't have your PR citizen, it even gets harder for you to get a job. Now, that being said, if you try to learn a skill like zero accounting skill, or myob accounting skill, which is freely available on the internet, right? There are tutors available in your states as well who teach you that. It will exactly prepare you to get your job in the first instance, because when you come here to do your masters, you don't have the experience to jump the hoop and be in the management of the company. And fair enough, you're not going to get that role. But what you could do is, during your semester, during your first semester or second semester, on a one scale, see the job market. For example, you could be good in, let's say, selling a car. So if a car yard is looking for a person to sell the car, if you learn about the car, graphics designing, UI UX expert, all these kind of skills are there. Marketing is there, so you can help a firm get more business in those 20 hours. So one skill is very important, and if you inculcate that, it becomes much easier for you to enter the job market. And when I talk about human bot was a um, natural extension of what I wanted to do, because I was always an IT guy. And when I came here, I had a look at the Perth market. I saw that there is a lot of opportunities where I can provide, or I can contribute towards the economy of this country. And there were clients that I got, that also helped me, my first five clients also helped me in doing the projects, because they knew that I started up fresh and I didn't have any experience of working in an IT company before. So I started off as a subcontractor, and then I became a director once I could work full time.
Got it. That's really great. And the human bot name as well, it sounds very, really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us something about Revolty. What is it exactly, and like what is it trying to achieve?
Yeah. So now with the introduction of human bot over there, we were into the IT side of the thing, software development. But Revolty basically is a blockchain based loyalty program. Now in Australia, the hospitality market. So this is what I learned when I came here. I used to always look at gaps, and I used to see how can we fill that gap, and of course serve the country, make some money as well, and create some value. So Revolti is basically a hospitality industry product which is going to change the way the customers interact with the merchants. For example, the functionalities are divided into four parts. First is the blockchain based loyalty program. So if you go to a restaurant, if you order table service, if you order takeaway, or if you even if you order for delivery, you get a certain points which you can use interchangeably among any of these places. The second is table service. You can order food from the table, takeaway, and delivery. But the beauty of this is also we have a point of sale system for the merchants. Now the beauty of this is many of the times the solutions for the hospitality industry is very fragmented, right? Now this increases the cost for the end user. Now you may say that when you assemble a computer, your cost should be lower. In this case, when you're assembling your softwares for the hospitality industry as a restaurant owner, your cost is increasing. So you pay for the point of sale, you pay 16 to 35% to third party delivery companies, then you got to pay for the loyalty program subscription. So this increases the cost exponentially. So what we have done is we have aggregated this particular functionalities, and we are launching the product in the beginning of the next month at 10% delivery cost. Now, if a merchant is selling $100 worth of product, so let's say one kebab, for example, when Uber, when you get a business Uber, the merchant is only making 50 cents on that product at the end, the bottom line. But when you go through Revolti, right, because a commission structure is in such a way that it is fragmented. So for table service, it's a different commission, takeaway and delivery, it's a different commission. At the
Got
end of the day, we want to help the merchants lower their cost. Also, the other angle is the data. Now, it's a blockchain based program. This is the first time someone has developed a blockchain based loyalty program in Australia. And from the customer's perspective, when the customer makes a social media post on the Revolti application itself, the customer is rewarded by the merchant for advertising their product. So the customers or the merchants, sorry, don't have to go to Facebook, Instagram and advertise their product. The customers can click a picture of the food. The AI model will detect where the customer is, what is the food item. And when the customer makes the post, the merchant will reward the customer for marketing. So basically, you're cutting out a lot of inefficiencies in the system.
got it. Right. One little question I had was, we already have these other companies offering food delivery services and all, and it's really smooth for customers to order. So
Yeah,
why should customers care about merchants' profits?
that's a very good point, actually, here. Now, think about a scenario where you are being charged 35% from third party companies as a merchant. Now,
Okay.
you're you are forced to increase the prices on the customer application to cough up the profit. So if a particular item is available at $13 in a restaurant, on the third party delivery app it would be available at $16.
Right.
Now maybe $3 doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to multiply those $3 into the items and multiply the number of times you order. Now, why does a customer have to pay a convenience tax, put it that way, if he is already paying for the delivery? So if I am already paying you for the food item, I want it delivered to my place, I am already paying the delivery cost, then why do you charge me more? So because Revolti comes in at 10%, the merchants don't need to increase their prices to cough up the profit. So the prices are lower. So number one is financial motivation that the customers can get. Number two is the loyalty program. Now, you name me one loyalty program in Australia that is universally accepted across all the merchants. Now, if you order from dine-in, you can use the points. Takeaway, you can use the same points. Delivery also, you can use the same points. So when you make a social media post, you get rewarded. That doesn't exist yet. We are bringing that new to the market. But from the customer's perspective, as a student, when I was a student, or even as a conservative customer, you always like to be rewarded. So
Right.
when you are ordering a meal, when you get the rewardy points, you can go to another merchant and use it. So that is another flexible motivation for the customer to have. Third is the social media angle, where you make a post on Instagram and what do you get? You get a few likes, a few comments, you feel good for an hour and it's gone. But what if I told you that when you make a post here, you get rewarded with points for that? Why? Because there is a proof of engagement over there. The product is self sustainable. That's where blockchain is coming from, and that's where the trend is moving towards. You can see this in US, where people are trying to do something like this. But in Australia, there is a big gap here. And we really want to help the merchants, the customers to come together and have a very efficient product.
Got it. I see the point in, like, I see the benefits of customers now. And yeah, where do you see this company going forward in the future?
Uh, that's a nice one. That's a question that I always ask myself. But to be honest with you, um, I am more of the present guy. So let's say what we want is that the market understands this product, um, the customers like it, they have a smooth experience on it, the merchants get to keep their profit with them, majority of their profit with them. If this trend happens where every stakeholder in this particular product and service is getting what they want efficiently, then I think the company can have a good um, growth in the future. I don't know about the numbers, but of course, I would want it to be $1 billion company in the next 2 to 3 years.
We'll hope that too. It's a
Thank you.
really nice concept and it's a really unique one. Like, customers are not given so much importance when it comes to food ordering,
That's
and it
that's the
seems
hard truth, Yeah. The whole
exactly.
system is designed towards feeding the bigger enterprises, but we forget that the customers and the merchants are the first fundamental base where the company
Yeah,
begins.
yeah, they are driving the business basically. Right. What advice would you give to a normal international student who has come to study and maybe make a good future for himself or herself?
Um, I think any international student coming here is come here with a very strong heart, because anyone coming from their country into another country where you got to take care of your food, you got to take care of your living expenses, your fees, um, um, your miscellaneous expenses. So my advice on well I wouldn't call it an advice. I would call it, let's say, a tip, right? So let's say you come here, you're looking for a job like many students are doing. So I'll classify the tip into two parts. One is on the job related front, because you need money to survive, right?
Right.
So in that regards, if you have a look around the students that come here to do masters, right? 50% of them are either doing management and commerce and IT. Now, these fields require work experience. But the beauty of this particular thing is, in regards to management and commerce, it can give you a good fundamental to do something else, um, like um, learn some zero skills, learn some myop skills. I would also recommend that it's tough to get a volunteering job here as well. But that being said, there are many companies out there that always look for people who take an initiative, right? So, for example, call up your let's say cleaning company around you. Just take your resume with the fact that I know to, I can actually contribute in the business. Like, once I sit in your business, I can do something, right? I can bring you more sales. I can build you a website. I can build you a software. I see that there is an inefficiency over here. I can really help you out there, right? So if you can do something like that, one skill, don't depend on your masters to get a job. That is one thing that I can definitely tell you. But one skill, catch one skill you are good at. I can't emphasize this enough. And try to honor that skill. Build an online portfolio of your work. Look for jobs online. There are always jobs available. Um, And if you can try to send in your portfolio to these companies, and if they have, for example, they're posted, we are looking for someone to do bookkeeping, or we are looking for someone to redesign our website. If you know how to redesign a website, WordPress is simple. I used, of course, custom programming languages, but WordPress doesn't take you a year to learn. Within 2 months, you can learn it. So even if you can build a scratch version of the website and send it to that person will know that you want to do something. Rather than sending them their masters, which they don't know what to do, you send them what they want. You need to apply to lower places, or small number of places, but your interactiveness has to be higher, because for you there may be one to many, but for
Got
them it's many to one. So that would be on the financial side of things to get a job. The other one would be, I've seen a lot of students. It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Um, Trying to keep their permanent residency or citizenship as the focus and then move. I would approach this problem from a different angle. I would rather say that if I don't have something to do here, why do I need to be here? So
got
yeah, so that skill, if I can contribute something here, and the purpose of contributing towards the economy of this country, if you can do something like that, it becomes easier for you to stay here. And everyone has their own personality, so I won't get on how do you need to behave. That's a raw factor, and I think that you should behave as you are. um, I think that would be my tip, or you can say a semi advice for the international students.
exactly. Firstly, like find your purpose and then figure out how to live in that country.
That one skill is the most important thing that you can hedge upon. For example, I'll give you another example: analytics, right? Um, Data collection. Many firms are looking for data. So, can you build some skill that will help you to collect data from the internet, like, and furnish it and give it to the firm? So, if they see something like that, of course, it's an advantage.
Got it. Before we wrap up, one last thing I would like to ask is, I know we are running short on time, but what is the one thing that you regret you did after coming to Australia? Like, is there anything you regret? Like, I should have not done this, or this
Uh,
could have been done in a better way.
I think the only thing that I regret is, or I would say not regret, or I would say I should have done it faster, would be um, getting the understanding that your master's program is not preparing you to be job ready. Now, I'm sure that many lecturers will go against this concept, and I
Right.
don't mind. This is my view, and this is what it is. Now, your master's program is not preparing you to be job ready, number one rule, right? But what it does is it opens up a club for you. So you get to meet students from different countries, where you can work together with the student in order to do that. I think that if I try to socialize more in my uni, that would be one pointer which I missed out. I would want to socialize more with my lecturers, um, with my classmates, to get their idea on what skill do you think we can put together to build something.
Got it. Great. Firstly, thank you for taking the time again. I'm sure you're busy, but I'm sure people like the group learned a lot from you, and we'll take a lot of inspiration from you, and hopefully we'll be where you are, and we'll surely be happy to have you on board again sometime. You're free.
Yep, I will. Thanks for your time, Kayur. I think this particular thing, even if it reaches out to 10 students, and even if one student can get something out of this, I think it's a success.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will find this inspiring. Again,
Yep.
thank you for the time, Kevin. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kayur. Yeah, thank you.